Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yorifala. Quite an exciting day yesterday, right? I mean, it was just changing by the second. But so many things happened yesterday, all in the, shall we say, bringing into being one particular project. And then the most dramatic of the day, perhaps, was when His Excellency Governor Ambode decided after all that, after all, he's a sportsman. And so he did put out a speech, which is expected of all statesmen, people with statesman-like peculiarities, characteristics. So the governor put out a statement yesterday, first of all accepting the candidature of his colleague and pledging to do everything to work for him. Quite a topsy-turvy day it was yesterday. We'll take your perspectives on it, but in the studio here, got our friends, the fast becoming members of the family. Ola Daniels, a lawyer and political affairs analyst. Thanks as always for coming on, Ola.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
And then right next to him, Jermaine, I always remember the Jackson 5 when I hear that name. Jermaine Sanwoolu, media practitioner and CEO, Diaspora PR. Sanwoolu began to come on our program back in the day. It was about diaspora thing. It was about not too young to run. It was about the youths coming into politics. The name Sanwoolu didn't mean anything to us beyond that it's a Nigerian name. Now, suddenly, the man is wearing a cap. Sanwoolu 2019, ECHO. Anyway, great of you to come, gentlemen. Give me your perspective, if you will, Ola. Yesterday, I don't want to spend too much time because everybody knows the story and where it started from, the drama, the NWC, having adopted one position, directly reversing itself and saying, even look at my signature self. And then something we'd heard before that looked like a do-or-die affair. By the end of the day, it was a matter of, at the end of the day, we're all in one team, and I'm a team player. Go on. How does the yesterday grab you? Or do you take it in your stride as, that's just a regular day in Nigerian politics?
Nigerian politics, if you look at it from a regular day Nigerian politics, but there was a shift in this one. You see, like I said in one of the programs, that if you were sent for a particular assignment in Lagos, you came a day before the election. Now, election was held in the morning. What were you supposed to be doing? What were you supposed to be doing if you came in for an election, an assignment given to you? Meanwhile, you are in some hotel, relaxing there, and the election came the next day. In the morning, when they started from 9 all the way, you didn't see anything. Up until 4 p.m., thereabout, you came out to tell Lagosians that there was no election. Where were you since morning? So if you didn't do anything, then you came to say there was no election, and in Lagos, there were witnesses everywhere. There was a smooth, a free and fair election in Lagos, and the Lagosians went out, all the party members all went out to cast their vote, and you are telling them there was no election. You see, they had no choice. They had no choice to come back to affirm and to confirm that election, because it would have been brutal. It would have been a serious political error if they had cancelled that primaries. So they had no choice but to come back and do the right thing. And that was what happened. Now, Mr. Ambode also had no choice but to accept it and come back to say, okay, fine, in the spirit of sportsmanship, okay, fine, somebody won. But I expected him to have done that earlier before this time, but was never too late anyway. But I thought it's something he would have done, and then he would have put on this same spirit of sportsmanship when he was giving his, the so-called World Conference, in quote. But we didn't see that. But thank God, everything has calmed down. Because there are some other political parties that are waiting that, oh, yes, after this thing, the man will cross over and will come to our party and all that. But thank God, we are not seeing that, coming to play. The party has come together to say, okay, we have done it. The election has been held. We have a candidate already. Now, party, let us come together and face the general election. Well, it's a good one, very good development. If we take this route, I think we are going somewhere.
Cool. Well, Jermaine, turning to you, and by now people will notice that you've taken off your cap. That's because it suddenly occurred to us, I say, hang on, that cap is saying Sanwoolu Eco 2019. And really, we don't identify with that because we just have to be, as it is, neutral. So we didn't want to give the erroneous impression that is there some Sanwoolu sponsorship in all of this? It's the cap. I just didn't notice it for sure. You know how it is. You got too many things going on. But thank you. Maybe you can get someone to switch caps for you, bring a cap for you later on. I don't know if you want to wear a cap.
I'll bring a different color.
Just chill, understanding that. But even just put that cap here. Let it not be on your knee, so that I can get a 3/4 shot of you. Aha! There you go. In fact, let me take it away. Sorry about all of that, but you know how it is. One could inadvertently give the impression of sponsorship when no such thing exists. But coming to the more important thing, the reason that we're here, what does this say to you as a youth? You know, before now, I was saying how we didn't meet, your name is Sanwoolu, but we didn't really meet, that is the program and you, we didn't really meet in this dispensation. We were meeting in terms of the youth, especially the diaspora, vis-a-vis development of our country and the participation of the youth and what they could do, the potentials and all of that. So here you are, you find yourself smack in the middle of it. What would you, as a young man, excuse my saying so because you might disagree with me, but what would you as a young man take as lessons from that which you have witnessed now? Beyond the whole euphoria of it going on, everything going on, people are making these other decisions, these other judgments, these other comments, but as a youth, desirous of engaging with politics, what do you think? Do you think there are lessons to learn in any of this?
Well, I believe there are a lot of lessons to learn from what has occurred in this past few weeks in Nigeria, and especially in Lagos. That means youths can know that there is hope for our democracy, that the APC is committed towards true democracy and also true democratic practices in everything that they do, through the conducting of the successful primaries in Lagos State and also some other states too. That shows that if you have the will, the mandate of the people, definitely you have a chance of being elected. Now,
sorry, Jermaine, the way you're speaking now, I can relate with it. But again, going back to when we, the program and you, when we first came together, I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you were not a member of the APC. You were not a member of any political party, or were you?
Well, I've always been interested in Nigerian politics. I've always given views on social political affairs.
But you were not a member of a political party?
Well,
at that time?
I have part of the the UK APC chapter, diaspora being there. I've been part of them. I've supported. I've done a lot of work with them. So I'm coming to the Lagos city right now, and I'm part of that. So I've always been. So you're going to be checking
out your ward. You're going to be registering for your ward because you've done all of that already.
Yeah, I've already done all that. Yes, I've already done all that.
So the transition has been made.
The transition has been made, yeah, because it's important that youths have to get involved in politics. We cannot stand by and watch our opportunity to pass us by. We have the energy, we have the zeal, we have the ideas, and we need to learn from those who are more experienced, be mentored by them, be schooled by them to learn what they've gotten over the years. I think that's the main thing we have to do. We can't just come into it and go directly and not get in there. So mentorship, guidance, and learning from your elders is very important.
Okay, the way you ended it about learning from your elder, because you being really, you're a Nigerian, homegrown and all of that, but you also have a diaspora engagement, and no doubt you would have seen that the experience with political parties over there is totally different. They do things in a particular way. Some things are totally taboo, cannot even be thought of, and etc. and etc. But then here we are, we're here. So there are differences, right?
Absolutely.
Between your experience and this one that you have now come and committed yourself to.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it is in that context that I was asking that, you think there are any lessons coming from your kind of environment? Any lessons to be learned from, shall we say, it was very, very deadly serious, but shall we say, the political play that was staged beginning Sunday?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of lessons to be learned. You know, first of all, I'm on the board of trustees and Central Executive Council of Nigerians in Diaspora Europe, you know, as a social and welfare officer, and also serve as publicity secretary of Central Association of Nigerians in the UK, and also I've contested, even as a councillor under the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom. So politically, I'm aware of what's going on internationally, but bringing it back home right now is that I could see the differences.
That's what I wanted to know about. What learnings? Any Nigerian just coming in here
you need
and
to
thinking
have
he can swing.
You have what they call local intelligence. You have to be on ground. You have to understand the process. You have to connect with the people. Now, many youths, young people always go, you know, social media, try and tweet. But those people who are voting, those people who are card-carrying members, they are on the ground, and they're not going to be.
McCoy.
You know the real McCoy.
They know the real McCoy.
So you need to roll up your sleeves. You need to get your boots. You need to go to where people are and engage.
I'm going to put you on hold. Thank you very much, Jamie. And let me bring it to you, Ola. Talking about this whole theme of what are the lessons to be learned, where I concentrated on him, the youth and diaspora, and, you know, the root shock that could greet any Nigerian who spent a lot of time abroad and knows the political norms, and then coming home and finding out it's a totally different ball game. He said something about you need to acquaint yourself with native intelligence or something to that effect. What did that, or the lack of it, how do you think that might have manifested itself in the whole drama that's been going on?
Well, that transposed to the Nigerian system on grassroots politics. Because they roll their slaves and they go meet people. But what we have here is either somebody's endorsing somebody or somebody has told somebody, don't worry, you will be the next one. Now, there's no grassroots play out here. And that was, okay, look at, the current governor of Lagos State.
Yes.
You came in as a governor, but do you really have what it takes or the relationship with the grassroots? Look at these primaries. It's so glaring that Mr. Ambode did not do his homework well. For the 3.5 years that he was a governor, probably he was running his show. Now, in Nigerian politics...
But he was competent. Beyond competence.
Now, yes.
Beyond competence.
Yes.
What is that word? He was a performer.
Yes.
So much so that even the national leader of the party, Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has said so on occasion, and it is documented that no question about his performance.
And average Lagosians believe, yes, he performed, that he was a performer. We don't have issues with that. But then, politics in Nigeria is beyond just performing. Now, you came under a platform. You see, what we run, the politics we play in Nigeria is not an independent candidate. No, you have to come on through a platform, which is the political party we are talking about here. You must be able to manage governance and relationship with the parties. You must be able to manage it. So you don't say, because I am a governor, then all I am doing, I'm working, and you don't even, if you're not close to your party, if you don't know what is happening in the party, okay, there was this disgraceful aspect of that conference. When Mr. Governor brought out the slip, he was showing the world that, see, I don't have my card, I have a slip. If Mr. Governor has a relationship with its parties, 3.5 years, you don't have card.
But, all of that, the last, shall we say, scene of yesterday's act, the governor now said, I'm a thorough party man. I love my party. I love the Lagos concept, the Lagos project. I will forever be attached to it, and I will do everything to make a smooth transition. And indeed, generally saying that he would not stop working for Lagos. So just from all that place, yes, is all well that ends well, because that's how the governor ended.
We are grateful, and like I said, it's a welcome development, and I'm not surprised that is happening, and that is what is expected of a party man.
One moment, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's take Mr. Governor's acceptance speech yesterday.
Dear Lagosians, APC is a great party, and the interest of our beloved state must always supersede that of any person or group. It is in this regard that I wholeheartedly congratulate the winner of the Lagos APC primaries, Mr. Babajide Sanwoolu, and urge all Lagosians to immediately support our party's gubernatorial candidate in the 2019 elections and work for the success of our dear party. As governor, I will do everything possible to ensure a smooth transition in the remaining period of this administration and ultimately to the new governor come May 2019. I therefore appeal to all our party members that we remain one family and unite behind the candidates of the party so that we can continue to move this state forward. The progress of Lagos State is non-negotiable. That I have passionately worked for in the last 3.5 years as your governor, and one to which I will forever be devoted. I wish to use this opportunity to thank our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the leadership of our great party at the state and national levels, all party faithful and all Lagosians. I thank all Lagosians for their faith and trust in me. I urge you not to relent in your support for our party as we prepare for the general elections.
Now that was quite statesmanlike,
Yes.
wouldn't you say, Yola?
Yes, I totally agree with you.
And so
I wouldn't expect anything less than what we have
So
here.
we can, we were concentrating on, the beginning part. So
Yes.
there's a sense in which we can, really just rest in the ending part.
Yes, well, because that's what I expect him
Because it's
to
like
do.
the-
Give that.
so
then
so
be
this is
part
a
of
different
this party.
person?
Yes.
So this is a different person
Yes, because
from
at that
the
time,
one you were
the
talking
contest
about?
is over. The contest is over. Now, I think all parties members, everybody needs to come to the table
you
now,
go.
re-strategize, then face the main election coming forward. I think he has not done anything out of place. I give it to him. Well, that's a good a good spirit of sportsmanship. I give it to him. It's a good one.
What part, Jermaine, did youth play in all of this? Here are you involved. You happen to have the same last surname, the same surname, I beg your pardon. Which one is first surname anyhow? You seem to have the same surname with the now APC candidate. But that aside, did you take part in all of this? We saw for sure that the ordinary folk, which make up the bulk of the party, they stood behind, a clarion call for party discipline and for continuity of the party blueprint and all of that. So we know that the masses are there, but I'm wondering if you think the youth made a significant contribution to the successful outcome of this.
Well, I believe the youth actually played their own part.
Played their part.
Yes. I personally, as a card carrying member, I voted, and that's my own civic responsibility, apart from my son, because I believe in the candidate Babajide Sanwoolu, who I believe he has a vision and he can take Lagos back in the right direction.
There you go,
And that is
politicking.
quite
Don't be
interesting.
politic, though.
It's not politics. I'm trying to clarify
well,
what I'm saying.
In any case, thank you very much, but I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yes.
Forgive my rudeness. Mr. George is on the line. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning, sir.
Uncle Yori, I am personally delighted that Ambode was not deposed because he did not perform. It was high-wired politics that took him out of that seat. But I must say that the development that occurred in Lagos, I'm one person, I'm a very big fan of Jagaban Tinubu. But I dare say that he himself has made a mistake on this one. This is why.
Did that fade out? Well, what Mr. George was saying there, in case, because I heard it in studio, was that he thinks, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu made a mistake on this one. Okay. Quite frankly, I don't know that we need to really spend too much time on that, because what I was going to say is that not everybody agrees with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Okay. The man himself accepts that fact, according to those that I hear from. He accepts that not everybody will disagree with me. He accepts that there will be those that will think that he is making a mistake. Anybody who's close to him, from what I hear, they'll tell you he accepts all of that. But we need to wait and see.
If I'm not even going...
Because that's one thing about this particular person that we're talking about.
If I'm not going that
oftentimes, his initial action is not thoroughly understood. It's an outright mistake, and so on and so forth. And then you see at the end that, wait a minute, how did you know?
I won't even call it a mistake. And the question I ask people is
No, I'm just saying that you don't want to call it a mistake, but Mr. George has the right to do
he
so.
Has
said that in his considered opinion, it's a mistake.
I want to put it this way, because people are saying, why did you let him go at this time? And I ask, when Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu finished his 8 years, as in the 2 terms, he left. Now, somebody came in. Don't forget that when he was there, when he was leaving, there was some work that were not finished. The works were there. When Mr. Fashola came, and when he came in, we saw what happened. It continued from where Ahmed Tinubu stopped. Then when Fashola left, Mr. Ambode came. There's a blueprint. So if there is a structure and there's a blueprint and people follow, anyone that we think, yes, is capable, can come in and the work will still go on. So if Mr. Ambode did not finish, because if Mr. Ambode still go ahead to use 8 years, the truth is it won't finish the work. Someone else will still come and complete and go on with the work. Another one will come. It's a continuity. There's a process. So saying that because Mr. Ambode is exiting now is a mistake, I'm not of that school of thought.
Okay, interesting. Tony in Kano, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
My contribution to this Babajide Sanwoolu now APC governorship candidate is one that everyone has to be very careful with. There's one thing I believe in life: loyalty comes before competence. Somebody can be competent in handling Lagos State, but as a party member, I strongly believe that he erred along his path, especially his leader as Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This scenario, the way I'm seeing Lagos, what played out in Lagos might likely be history in itself. Remember Kano State when Kwankwaso was the governor of Kano, his first tenure. The second tenure he was supposed to run against Shekaru. He had everybody, like we had this slogan of Kwankwasia going on. Everybody thought Kwankwaso was going to take Kano State until Shekaru surprised him and became the governor of Kano State. Now, eventually, I listened to Babajide Sanwoolu's acceptance speech yesterday. The acceptance speech he was giving sounded as if he was already the governor of the state. Not considering the factions and other parties will contest to the contenders. But from the
So thank you very much for your contribution. The line began to go wonky. Well, you could get it. Towards the end, I think something came out that he offered the opinion that Mr. Sanwoolu sounded as if he was the governor already. Well, I don't know. Different strokes for different folks.
Very well.
I didn't hear that. And in any case, it's a political event. He's saying the kind of governor that he will be if elected.
Yes.
Even Mr. Sanwoolu here, I have to say, you're not. It's not political this time. We're in a current affairs program, and but politicians tend to rub in a bit of politics. So I don't know. Different strokes for different folks.
Well.
That's the way Tony saw it in Kano. But we're talking really here about enthroning party discipline. It's really that's one thing. You can phrase it however you want. Make catchy headlines, but it's like this is what the party wants. The leaders of the party, got together and indicated that this is how we run our ship. And it's like, it's the way we roll. You come on board if you're okay with it. If you're not, you can't get halfway and begin to change the rules unilaterally. I think, again, going back to lessons for people who are coming to a new environment, because the point was made about performance, yeah, that's like taking for granted. Nobody's going to put a non-performer in as a governor knowingly. So it's going to be expected. But the rest part of it now is what seems to be coming out into the visible. People see the visible, which is performance, the superstructures, all of this. But the unseen one, we have now seemed to have been told, is equally as important, if not more important, being a team player, being a party man, and all of that. You think that's a major lesson to learn?
Well, yeah, we must commend Governor Amode for giving such a stately and executive kind of speech yesterday, and saying that, you know what, he commends Honorable Babajide Sanwoolu for what he's done, for winning, and told the whole other party people to support him, and he himself said he's going to support you.
So you have a unified ship again.
Yeah, so that's unified.
However, there are those who will say it is papered over to some extent, but then let's start from there, perhaps. Because a lot of conjectures were out there. Ambode might defect to somewhere else. All of that, he put a light to all of that. Saying, but I'm going to stay here and work with the party.
But you must understand that it wasn't just the leaders or the delegate system as who imposed someone on the candidate. That's not what happened. The people went to vote en masse. And they said, this is the person we want to choose.
That's it.
So I believe that was the best thing and the best sign of true democracy in Nigeria.
So direct primaries, direct primaries are here to stay.
Yes, I think Lagos is taking the lead. Yeah, because right now we can all see what has happened about the parties coming together, and we're having a direct primary. Every members of the party, have a say by their vote, and we saw what happened.
So I'm so sorry, gentlemen. I really want to continue with this.
All right.
But you know how all these producers are dictators, Jerry. We're talking about democracy. The man is saying absolutely no time anymore. So I got to thank you very much, Ola Daniels, as well as Jermaine Sanwoolu. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Very well.
Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And staying with politics of moving states, moving across to Ogun State, which is really a neighbor to Lagos. And I have with me Prince Boyega Nasir Isiaka, FCA. He's of the African Democratic Congress, and indeed, beyond that, he's the governorship candidate. But playing uppermost on his mind, no doubt, is the fact that he is from Ogun West, the Ogun West Senatorial District. And Ogun West thinks that it hasn't had a chance at Government House. And so there's a lot riding on you and, the notion. Tell me about this whole matter about Ogun West not having, that is because of the rotational aspect. What has happened? Has it rolled to you and then somebody takes it over? What's the whole noise about Ogun West yet?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, viewers. First, I need to make it clear that my aspiration for the governorship of Ogun State, particularly in this 2019 and to some extent 2015, is not hinged on the fact that I'm from Ogun West and that I'm pursuing Ogun West governorship.
No.
It's hinged on the fact that I'm from Ogun State.
Yes.
And that I have the capacity and the capability to lead Ogun State to a higher level.
Okay, so the other one is incidental.
Who now happen to come from Ogun West, a particular section of the state that hasn't had a shot at the governorship in the 43 years of existence of Ogun State. So, and I think that aspiration and that clamor too by Ogun West is in order. Because fair and equity also, requires that, and also knowing that, the whole part of the state have, children, daughters, sons that have the capacity to lead the state. So if the people of Ogun State are clamoring for this, I think it's in order.
Indeed.
And I think it's also to, to further promote equity and justice, that we all know that without which we will not have endurable peace. So that is the reason for the aspiration. And I think, like I said, it's very much in order. So I happen to come from there. But like I said, my aspiration is actually based first on my capacity.
Indeed.
And then we now put all that to it.
Otherwise, it wouldn't really work, because competency is important.
That's right.
A person must be competent for the job. But it's interesting. We're talking about this whole philosophy of apportioning out and reserving for contestants only from this area. In the interest of excellence and performance, I wonder what you think of that particular arrangement, or the call for that particular arrangement, as against that of, look, put the ideas in. It doesn't matter whether it's Ogun East, it's Ogun West. We shall debate them publicly. We shall take only the best ideas and let it be wherever it comes from, because that person will not be a governor for his side. It will be a governor for all, just as you said at the beginning, that's the kind of governor you're going to be. So this whole matter about segmenting off and reserving.
Well, it's not, they are both important. One might be important than the other. The quality and the personality of the person and what it has in mind is very important. But it's also important to have every bit, so that everybody can have the feeling of being part of the state and giving you the opportunity to run for the state. So I think what the people of the state are saying is that we have 3 central districts, we have 4 divisions, and the other 3 divisions, or 2 central districts, they've all been in and out of government house at one time or the other. And we feel that it is now time of I think what the people are saying, our people are saying in the state, is that all the parties of the state, all the parties operating the state, should also see the need for us to have equity and justice, reflected in their choice of candidates, and then let the people of the state now decide on who they think is the best person. So I think that is what I'm hearing from the political parties that are operating in the state. Why one political party or the other, why they are not doing it, I mean, I leave that to them. But the party that I belong to at this time, that's ADC, has actually done it. We had it yesterday, and I made the candidate.
Exactly.
And,
was that by consensus or by direct primaries or by delegates?
Well, it was a combination of both. We had consensus. We have some people showing interest at the beginning. Then we sat down and agreed that, look, I should go. And then we now use the primaries, process of the primaries all over the state. Yes.
Okay, so it actually was. It was all of them, all of the things sort of.
Exactly. Exactly, put together, yes. So we had that yesterday. And then it was rank-free. Nobody is going to any court. We're not having any parallelogram, as in parallel congresses all around the place. We have another political platform as at now.
I noticed that when we were speaking beforehand, before coming on air, you were telling me how you've actually moved camp a bit. You used to be with PPN, People's Party of Nigeria, then with PDP, and here you are with ADC. And we've said that you have to take competence for granted almost, because it's number one, or everything else is incidental. But looking at the experience of what happened yesterday, there are those that are beginning to consider that maybe competency is not, or what the word competency embraces goes beyond that of performing on the job. To be competent, that you probably have to have, but equally as importantly is realizing that you don't just stride on by yourself. Your emergence is a result of work of a lot of people, and so you can't leave them all behind. People are referred to it as understanding the local terrain, native intelligence, whatever it is they call it. Do you think that's important?
Well, they are all important. As the governor or president, as head of government, you are touching on everything. You have to put everything you have into play. Peace among the political class, among the people that are around you, will also give you peace to be able to run the government very well. So if you're also not able to manage those ones very well, you will have challenges on your seat.
And the recipe will differ from place to place to place. So a thorough understanding of your environment is paramount.
Even all that you have in your brain or in your heart that you want to play, I want to put to play, you will be able to do those ones well if you also be able to manage the interest, all the political interests, and so you must also be able to manage those ones. Not necessarily that you want to do that at the expense of the will of the people or what you want the people to do. But it's also important that if you don't manage those ones well, you'll not even be able to have the time and the courage and the concentration to also do what you want to do for the people.
So it's a delicate balancing
act. It's a delicate balancing. And you've got to do it. It is like that everywhere. It can be more in one part of the world than the other. But it is like that everywhere. We also see it everywhere. So when you talk about that, I mean, I'm sure you are referring to what is happening all around us.
Yes.
Without mentioning name, I think that they are really all very important. What we can be calling for as a people is that, given that our democracy and our politics is growing from 1999 to now, a lot of things have happened. I think we should now be looking more at the people. What does people want? How do we satisfy the people? And now get the right person that can actually do that while also maintaining the balance among the political class, so that we can be able to do that very well.
In terms of coming into office, I don't mean it, even though one party has used the word and it's beginning to be associated with them, but just taking the word generically out, this whole a blueprint, a roadmap for the project that, for instance, in your case, the project of the governorship project, you want to become governor, and people are entitled to ask, so what would then therefore be your blueprint that we should buy into? That's the, but because you have moved from PPN to PDP and now APC, I'm one.
ADC.
I beg your pardon. African Democratic Congress.
Yes,
let me say it again, from PPN to PDP to ADC.
Yes.
Where are the associates, the like minds with such movement? Isn't it a bit like a kid whose parents keep on moving from town to town, country to country because of posting or whatever? So the kid sometimes can be a bit disoriented. I'm not saying that you're a kid, but where's the time to form associations of like-minded folk, know them, trust them, be able to work with them? Is that a concern? Because I don't know the people in PPN. I don't know how different they are from the people in PDP, and I don't know how different those people are from ADC, but you seem to have traversed all of this.
It is the same. It is the same. It is the nature of our politics and where we are. I mean, without mentioning these names,
yes.
Who are those that were Party A yesterday, in the Nigeria? Where are they today? Even in the national politics, I mean, in 2015, we knew how people went into the National Assembly. We knew where majority of them are today. We knew those that are, were moving. Even there are those that move. It is just the state that we are as a people and where our politics is. It's a reflection of that. I think that after a while,
the same people you seem to be suggesting largely are circulating around. It doesn't matter what brand you have.
Our challenges and problems as a people are basic, are still the same.
Yes.
Our poverty level, we know where it is, and we all know what needs to be done in order for us to enhance it and to raise it. It's not about one party or the other. It's about the person.
It's about
about the person.
It's about the person.
It's not about one person or the other.
Isn't this where problems come?
It's about the person. So it's about you, and when you also want to run a race and want to achieve your purpose, and you look at the way the platform are. I mean, for instance, look at my state. In my state today, the whole thing you mentioned, all those parties, is all about one party, the PDP. Since 2011, when I have been involved in this, there is no time we have primaries that do not produce at least two people who will fight and fight and fight till maybe a day or two to election. The same thing is happening as I speak. So the question I ask myself is that, what do I want to just get into one that give me peace and I go and tell the people this is what I want to do and people make up their mind? Or do I want to get involved in all of this rancor and I keep on and on and on and on and on, particularly when I am sure that at the end of the day, what is important is that what is that I have in my heart and my brain that I want to go and give to the people when I get there, and not necessarily which platform that is going to take me there.
I'm going to come back to that. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Toyin in the United Kingdom. Good morning, Toyin. Thank you very much for holding on.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
That's no problem at all. Good morning, Uncle Yori. I'm a huge fan. I only have superlatives for your program. Well done, sir.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you.
Good morning, Prince Isiaka.
Morning. Good morning.
I just wanted to say, I'm glad Prince Isiaka mentioned what was most important here. It doesn't really matter whether you're from the West or from the East or whatever other region you're from in Ogun State. Your policy is what counts rather than anything else. What are you going to do for the unemployment rate, especially among the youth? What are you going to do about the mass migration of youth to bigger cities like Lagos? What are you going to do about the agricultural sector, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Unfortunately, parties are siloed in their own little cocoons, and it is the populace who suffers from their power struggle, and that is what it is. There's a famous saying, as I'm sure you know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And that is what we are suffering day in, day out in Nigeria as a whole, where people in power and in present government seem to only siphon their followers or their friends or relatives into choice positions or people from their own specific area or state. This is absolutely ridiculous in modern day politics. I'm sorry I could go on and on
indeed.
and on, but I am aware of the time factor.
Thank you very much, Toyin.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Toyin. Very articulate lady there. Want to address her concerns?
Well, I think you should basically just agree with what I said, and then, it says, I agree with her. I think what we're talking about here is really about the person. All the political platforms that we have today in this country, we have practically the same set of people moving from one to the other. So it's about time.
One moment, sir.
Yeah.
Since we don't have independent candidates, because you've said about 2 or 3 times now, it's all about the person. You know the system we run here. You have to have a party. So therefore, you probably need to find a party that sees it the way you see it, or that you can influence to adopt your vision as its vision, whereupon you can then run. Otherwise, you might, not you necessarily, but the universal you might arrive at a problem where the party says you're at variance with what they believe in and their vision.
Our needs are basic. I don't know of that party today that will not talk about education, that will not talk about health, the poor state of our roads, the rate of unemployment that we have in our country, and then the need for reorientation and good governance in our system, empowerment of the youth and the women. Mm-hmm. So these are all basic things.
So you think it goes back again to what you said, which is that it's about the person.
These are all basic things. So the other thing now is that, and I'm sure everybody will talk about them. So the other thing now is that where is the experience and the capacity and the heart, the good heart, to implement those things?
That's where the person comes in.
And those factors are not about the party. It's not about the party. It's about the person. It's about the person.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because nobody will suggest that
yes.
the candidate you feature is not important.
Yes.
So it's of crucial importance.
Exactly. So and that's why our people, the people will also have to come to that realization that yes, maybe another 10 years, maybe another 20 years, the dichotomy will have been so sharp and so different that people can say, look, I want to go with this party, or I want to go to that party.
Because you know what they believe in.
Exactly, we know what they believe in. But and you know their mode, you know their...
and if anybody comes and says anything, you know immediately he's speaking against the position of the party. People don't need to...
Otherwise...
But for now, you don't think we're there.
Otherwise, where is the difference between yesterday and today, even in the national politics of this country, in the way we drive things? What is the difference between yesterday and today? I do not see it. If there's any difference there, you can only trace that difference to individuals.
Okay.
You can also say, okay, this is happening because this person is occupying this office now, and not because it's this platform. There was nothing that happened in yesterday of government that you cannot trace it to another person in today's government. Nothing.
Okay, let me bring on Yakub, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Secretary.
Thank you for calling in.
And then good morning to your guests in the studio.
Yes.
I have comment on the other topic, but that one is already gone. Let me just ask a simple question to share my guests in the studio. Secretary, I have a personal interest in Ogun State, all because, yes, I do my business here in Lagos, but my family are reside in Ogun State. That's the reason why. Because if you can see, the largest local government in Ogun State happens to be for local government. I'm trying to correct it. But this dispensation now, if you can go to Ifo local government, down from Ifo to here in Lagos, it is Governor but they even help Ogun State a bit for some certain level in terms of infrastructure. If you go to Ifo local government, all their roads was so very terrible state. I want to ask a question. The person in the studio, I know probably that you come from the Yewa side. Maybe, finally, if you go to the ticket, what is it hard for the Ifo local government? Because Lagos State, it has boundary with Ifo, and then they are helping Ogun State in terms of their infrastructure, and then the resources are there for the government of Ogun State to use. What is going to do for the Ifo local government? Thank you and God bless.
Okay, thank you very much, Yakub.
Maybe I can just address that in 1-2 minutes.
Yes, but for some, maybe, and then we can go back to Toyin, who called in from the UK, at least employment, migration of the youth, agriculture, she spoke about those things. Okay. Maybe after this, we'll get your comments on that.
Okay.
But please quickly address this one that you said you need to address.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. We have what we call a 7-point agenda, which I should be unveiling in another 2 weeks. One of those agendas is actually the rapid development of our border towns, those towns that border Lagos. And 8 of our local governments actually have towns and villages and communities that border Lagos. And they spread the territorial district of Ogun State. Ifo, which you mentioned, is one of those. I've been going around the towns. I was in Agbara just last week. I was in Akute about 2 Sundays ago. I was in Mowe about 3 Sundays ago to have town hall meetings with communities in those areas to tell them exactly what we want to do, to actually let them know that we know what the problems are, pictorial pictures and everything that happens in those areas, and to tell them the things that I want to do. And one of those things that we say we're going to do is actually set up an agency that will actually look at those border towns. We agree, or rather we know, that the economic potentials of those areas are not being tapped at all because of the way the infrastructure of the place is. And we also know that Lagos will keep expanding and increasing. And there's no way Lagos is going to expand to apart from Atlantic or Ogun State. And if we keep the areas the way they are, without the infrastructure being looked at, it's going to be almost like postponing the evil days in terms of the disaster. So we have peculiar things for those areas that I want to do.
Okay.
In terms of the employment that that was mentioned, by Toyin.
Yes, Toyin in the UK. She just wanted to know if you was in about employment. And we don't have the time, so just take employment.
Okay, definitely. Clearly, it has to have to start because of our youth. That will have to start with the kind of education and skill that we give to our youth. We must also prepare them for the challenges of 21st century. And that is why we actually have to look at our educational system and skill acquisition very well. We also intend to also use agric as one of those mediums by increasing our investment in agriculture, by making sure that the whole value chain of agric are taken care of and enhance what happens there so that we can attract our youth into that. So we intend to look at education curriculum, we intend to look at skill acquisition, we also intend to enhance the private-public sector relationship so that we can enhance employment generation in those areas, because it's not what government can actually employ those. A few other things.
I know. Thank you for your understanding. You see that we've run out of time. Yeah. But to be realistic about it, in Ogun State, ADC, how do you fancy your chances?
Very high. Very good. We're going to get it.
Based in no small measure, perhaps, on the fact of it's all about the person.
Yes.
You are a known quantity, because that's what people look for. Well, there are times when they also look at the party, but you think it's all about the people.
Yes, it's about the person. Mm-hmm. But we also know that the name of the person is not going to be on the ballot.
Yes.
So the party that will be on the ballot, we also have to let the people know. And we have fashioned out things to make all of this happen. And we're going to surprise the community and the environment when the time comes.
That's a fine note to leave it on. Thank you very much, Prince Gboyega Nasir Isiaka, African Democratic Congress gubernatorial candidate. And that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.